Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Is This Real? This week, for our episode, I think we have a good kind of topic for you. We actually have 4 different topics for you. Each of us in the booth, me, Dad, Eric, Mr. West, and Mr. Roblox Joshua, decided that we were going to bring our own topic and figure out if these conspiracies, if these, whatever you want to call them, are true. Are they real? Is this topic real? And we went a little overboard with our explanations of each topic this week, so it's a little long episode, so we decided to split it in 2. So this week, you get the first 2 subjects, and the next week, the other 2 subjects. And I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll definitely be back with a closing, if you will. But enjoy our first 2 topics for this week. Welcome everybody to another fantastic week of Is This Real. It is our second week back from our hiatus that we took for, I guess, 2.5 months. But this week's episode, as usual, we have the core crew here. We have Dad, what's up? He's on the other side of the mic. We have Eric, is on the other side of the mic also.
Hello.
And we have Roblox. As usual, this is our core people here. So, shut the fuck up. So this week's episode is kind of like a grab bag. Usually we have a specific subject that we like to research and talk about, but 90% of the time, as our attention spans are smaller than a fucking newt,
A newt. I love newts.
We roll off the topic and we're like, what were we talking about again? And I don't think that's fair to our people. So what we decided to do this week, and if it catches on, we might continue to do this, or just be like, look, we'll do this every once in a while if we don't have a topic for the next week.
Right? Yeah. We're just winging it, people. We just. It's like
so this week is like a grab bag.
We're trying to find our mojo. Yeah. That's what I think it should be called. We're trying to find our little groove, what works best for us. We're trying to give each other roles. One can be the commentator, one can be the fact guy, one can be
the sexual innuendo person.
He always is. That doesn't matter. That's not going to change.
All right. So this week, like I was saying, it's more like a grab bag. We brought in our own topics that we think are creepy, mysterious, weird, fucked up, whatever. And I just want to preference it where it could be from a lot of different subjects. It's not just we said, all right, let's do one subject and, pick 2 or 3 different conspiracies or 2 or 3 different government stuff.
Swinging at people.
We're literally just like, all right, it could be anything from leprechauns to
the moon.
Yeah, to the moon. It's
the moon is
space.
It is a ball of cheese, guys. I'm convinced.
All right,
I've watched my cartoons. Come on.
All right, so Eric,
I know my research.
Mr. West, we'll start with you. What did you bring into Is This Real episode this week?
I swear, I thought that picture just blinked at me. I was just like, what?
All right, you have to stop smoking before.
But, I picked, did J.P. Morgan not go on the Titanic because he knew it was going to sink that night? Because they were on that ship that were opposed of the Federal Reserve, and they all died that night. When that
there was a lot of high
VIPs.
Yeah, high people in society that were on that Titanic ship.
I gotta say, I'm actually really glad that Eric brought up a topic like this because I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
Well, you don't research stuff about the Titanic?
No, Titanic never really like fascinated me. So I'm actually looking forward to his topic right now.
I like it. It got my interest because I was watching a stand-up, Paul Mooney, and he made a very funny joke where he was just like, it's funny how something about white people, and then he's just like, look how they stand up in God's face and all they pride. The Titanic, unsinkable. Unsinkable. They called it unsinkable, and then what happened? Boom! That iceberg just came in, unsinkable my ass.
Yeah, that was complete. That was the poster for the Titanic.
Unsinkable.
It was the unsinkable ship, the man-made unsinkable ship that will never sink. This and that, and I don't know. Like, obviously, you're not going to sit here and like based on the movie, because the movie obviously most of it was fabricated.
Remember, English is not our specialty on the show.
It's not. No, English is not our specialty. But there, in certain little truths that they did have is, the JP Morgans and the high society high rollers that were on the ship.
Yeah.
Most of them fucking died.
A lot of people died.
A lot of people died.
Yeah.
1,500 people died that night.
What a better way to get somebody that you want dead. You want him dead, but you don't want to murder him, or you don't want to seem like you're murdering him. Let me get my glasses off here. So what do? You put him on a ship, and you say to everybody, this ship's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be the best ship going.
You know what's something that's very interesting too, not to cut you off, that I found out? That ship received 6 warnings that there was ice around there. 6 warnings.
Yes.
And the last warning was like 30 minutes before the ice hit.
Well, did you see the track
and what was it? The captain said, shut up, I'm working.
Yeah. Did you see what what was it called? The track of it, or the track of the ship? They, instead of going, it was supposed to go to New York, right? And it was supposed to make New York in, I think, 6 days, which would have made it the fastest ship at that time.
Yeah, because I think it left on the
12th
of April.
Yeah.
And it hit on the 14th. It hit literally at 11. The ship documented it. What was it? 23:40.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes right before midnight. And it took 2 hours and some change. 2 hours and 48 minutes for that ship to sink.
Yeah, but the track, I believe, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. If you want to look this up for me, Joshua.
Yeah, what's up?
The ship track. I believe they went north first, and
course?
then the course. That's
the maiden voyage. It was.
I think they went north, and then we're going to come south, which never made any sense to me.
Well, I mean, the way I saw it, it left from like Southampton, somewhere in like
Britain. Because Britain's north of New York.
Yes.
Like way north of New York.
Yes. North.
Was it a straight shot, or did they go up and then down?
No, it looked like it was
it's gonna give me.
It looked like it was
map?
Look at my fingers. It would look like it was a straight shot like this.
Oh, so they were going south.
They were going like south.
Okay, because again, the way the movie made it is that they went north and then like arched their way south to New York. So
probably not. Maybe
that was probably a movie thing.
Yeah,
okay, so we never go based on the movie.
Never.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Titanic is interesting to me because there's a lot of
conspiracy.
There's a lot of conspiracies behind it.
There's another one that it had a sister ship, the Olympic.
Yeah.
And people say that like, nah, they just swap ships, but that one, it's a nice theory, but that one, it doesn't make sense.
Well, the thing also with the Titanic,
because it sent a distress call to that ship, like we're sinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was kind of, sorry to cut you guys, I actually see a map for this. It started off in Southampton and Cherbourg on the 10th of April 1912. It looks like it may have made a pit stop one day later to Queenstown. I believe that's...
which is north.
England? It's slightly north, yeah. They were going west and then went slightly north to Queenstown. I think that's England. I can't really tell the second. April 11th, 1912. And then it, as you guys were saying, New York. But it did not make it
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Because on April 15th, as I'm looking at the picture, 1912, the coordinates is where it crashed.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. The reason why there's a lot of conspiracies is because of how many high-ranking people were on that boat.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win seal. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
And it made sense for like how you were saying at the time too, because like think about it, this was the unsinkable ship.
Yeah.
Everybody and their white mother wanted to see this ship.
The creator of the ship, he was like, yeah, it'll never sink.
It'll never
ever sink.
But the question I have with this now, and I can agree with you to a point. If you want to 86 a few people, and you don't want to have blood on your hands, that's fine. But you're going to have to take into consideration that the iceberg that hit this thing now, or did they hit the iceberg? I don't even know. Now,
No, they were how at least the story goes is that they were continuing course,
right,
and they said they got warnings that there were ice in the water.
right,
Remember, it's April and they're north,
right.
so it's the North Atlantic in April.
Yeah, it's going to be frigid. Yeah.
So they got warnings that there was ice in the water, but they were like, nah, nothing will take out this ship. So they just decided to stay course, and in their course path.
Yeah, that's and the problem too was that they were also going at the same speed.
Yeah.
That they were
Well, they were actually going faster. Because
they were going at like I think it said like 45 knots, which was the equivalent to 25 miles an hour in the water.
Yeah, but with the problem with that is
for a big ass ship like that's pretty
they
fast.
wanted to go faster, and they were supposed to go. I believe the original course plan was supposed to go 40 or 35 or 40 knots per hour, which is about like 20 miles an hour. But they wanted to make it to New York in record time.
Yeah, they were going 45, so they were going like 25.
So it was they had the ice, which they were like, fuck it, nothing will take us down. And then they had the
recklessness of how far.
Yeah, the recklessness of the captain, and there you go. You have a recipe for disaster.
Huge recipe.
Now remember, it's an iceberg, so you know, okay, it's a little bit of ice on top, but you know there's a shit ton of ice under sea level.
Here's a fun fact too. J.P. Morgan funded to build the Titanic.
Yeah. But that's a thing. So
yeah, something like that. Then you got to check and see what was when he did build it and he did send these people up. You also got to find out how is this thing insured. In other words,
yeah,
if he's going to fund
go
these
to?
things, he's going to want to get money back. If he's going to off people, he can get he can off people. And I'll give you an example. A lot of people believe that 9/11 happened and it was a conspiracy and whatever. That's personal views. However, you got to take into consideration that when the buildings were hit, okay, the Larry Silverstein at the time, who had leased these buildings from the Port Authority, was in essence the de facto owner of these buildings. He had insurance put on these buildings that if anything happened terrorist-wise or that wasn't planned for, he was going to get double the insurance. Well, it just so happens that he had 8 buildings there, and because of all the buildings that were taken down, he got double what they were worth.
Shit.
Okay, now you got a question. What was that insurance policy that Morgan took out on the Titanic? Because these guys didn't get to become billionaires by being stupid. They know what they're doing, and if this guy might have had people that he wanted to take out that were in competition to him, and that's the kind of thing that you really got to dig into as far as who was on that ship, what kind of threat that they posed to J.P. Morgan or whoever else was involved on the other end, and then the story, you got to follow the money, and then the story will take shape from there. And I don't know if anybody's ever done that, because I've never heard that. I've never really heard of what you're saying as far as,
a conspiracy
about it. No, I have heard that J.P. Morgan was involved. I mean,
the other alternative story of that is that the Rothschilds and the Jesuits were involved with something like that too.
There's a lot of stories with the Rothschilds.
The Rothschilds, anywhere you're going to have a problem. Yeah. They're just
so wait a second. You said, Eric, can you restate your topic of how you started this? It's J.P. Morgan what?
J.P. Morgan, he knew that the Titanic was going to sink, but it is a fact that he did cancel. Yeah. He was booked to go on that ship, and he canceled at the last minute. That is a confirmed fact.
Okay, so he was supposed to go on it, but he canceled, and what's like the
last minute. Because
he canceled the last minute, and
it is an interesting conspiracy, because if he did,
the ship was going to sink. Period.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I was going to say real fast, because I put J.P. Morgan into the computer, and I'm thinking, and this just caught my attention really, really fast. So the maiden voyage of the Titanic and everything was supposed to be April 12th. You said 1912, right?
Yes.
That's what we just said. So I'm looking at his profile that pops up when you put it in. It says his name, John Pierpont Morgan, whatever, financier, blah, blah, blah. His birthday was April 17th, 1837. But then it says he died March 31st, 1913.
So he died a little bit less than a year later.
Yeah, a year later. Like, I don't think it mattered at that point, because he still died.
But again,
at least within the same time frame.
If you do the research into these millionaires and billionaires, they don't ever believe they're going to die. They don't. Everything they're doing, everything they do is for life. They want to extend the life of people.
They want the adrenochrome.
Everybody knows that. Everybody heard the story of Disney freezing himself.
Right. They want to extend their life.
And that frozen is a representation of genetics or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that are actually out there. And the millionaires and the billionaires of the world, the upper 1% of the world that runs the world, J.P. Morgan and Rothschilds. And these people are all intertwined somehow. Rockefeller. None of them are as ruthless as the Rothschilds, because they're the ones who started this mess.
Yeah.
They're the ones that, started it from the beginning back in the 1700s. They were the one, I think Meyer Rothschild, the guy who started everything. He said he don't care who's running your country. Show me who's in charge of your money. Make me in charge of your money, and I'll show you who's going to run your country. And that's the truth. These guys have been running. There's nothing that goes down in anything in this world without the stamp of approval of the Rothschild family. Now, J.P. Morgan, again, he was up and coming, but he was a peon compared to these guys. Rockefeller, billionaire, but he was a pimple on their ass. They've got their entire family in every country in this world. So if they want something done, they're going to do it. They don't give a flying. Life means nothing. But to your point, Block, it didn't matter when he died, because in their mind they're not dying. They're going to find a way to stay alive. They want to find a way. If they're going to die, they want to make sure that life extension technology will be available to them to continue after it become, preserve their body or whatever. Yeah. Just like
Walt Disney. So, it does come down to that. These guys all believe that they're not going anywhere, and they want to continue running society and doing whatever. But we all know differently. Once they die, they're dead. They're not coming back.
Yep.
So, they haven't been able to prove us wrong about that one yet.
So let's go to our next, lore or whatever.
Hold on a minute. Before we go to that, I want to take a poll. Honestly, do you believe there was a conspiracy by them to sink that boat on purpose? From what you've been researching and...
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
It's interesting to tickle at, because it's an interesting conspiracy. Because honestly, the honest truth is, I will never really know.
No, we'll never get it.
That's the cold me being bluntly honest. I will never really know.
Right.
I can do all my research as much as I want and put my mind to that's my narrative. That's it, because it all makes sense to me. That's it. Just keep doing it. Just do it.
Right.
And that's the truth. I'm not really gonna know.
Well, I mean,
how about you, Joe?
I tumble back and forth because, obviously I equate the Titanic to a lot of mistakes by a lot of people. Okay. And why that the ignorance of the people of the time,
right,
and the ignorance of the captain being like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. The owner, the captain, I forgot the name of the captain. If you could look that up for me, Jay.
I think it was Robert.
But he was a really well-known worldwide captain that sailed around the world and did this and did that.
Something like that. It was the ignorance of the time too, because that's how the
right,
captains.
But he also warned the owner, because the owner of the designer of the Titanic was on the ship too.
The engineer.
Yeah.
Edward Smith.
Yeah, Edward Smith. He was a really well-known captain, and he warned him. He was like, I've done this. I know what happens. Don't push it. And I forgot the engineer or the designer of the Titanic. He turned around. He was like, I want this to be the worldwide papers. I want to make New York in 3 days or some shit like that, and I want to be the fastest ship on Earth. And he was like, I own this ship. I'm telling you as the captain, you push it. You push this ship to its limits. And that's what happened. And then you get the warnings that people obviously were like, we're good. It can't be that big of ice.
It's not that bad.
So I don't know if it's a conspiracy.
Only 1,500 people died.
So I don't know if it's so much as a conspiracy.
We can do better next time.
Right, 2,000 on board, 15, almost 50. We can do better. Let's aim for 70, bro.
Like I said, I don't know if it's so much a conspiracy. I think it's more ignorance.
It was also to end on that, is it is ignorance, because the ship, from what I saw, it could have added more lifeboats to that situation.
I agree.
But the reason why they declined that from, I think, what was it? I forgot the company. But the company declined it because at the time they were going to be paying about $5,000, which is the equivalent to $500,000 into what the lifeboats were going to be for aesthetic purposes.
Yep. And of course, you have the high rich people on the upper decks,
because it was gonna.
And then you had all the poor people, and how many poor people? The poor people, or the
middle class,
the middle to lower class, outnumbered the rich. I think 3 to 1. But most of the rich people, at least that survived.
One of them was what is it, Milton Hershey?
At least that survived.
He founded Hershey.
We're on those boats first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm not gonna say it's a conspiracy. I'll just take it as,
a human mistake.
Yeah.
Conspiracy or not? Something to it, or?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm kind of almost similar to Joe. I won't dismiss the fact that it could have been a conspiracy. Mm-hmm. Because if you stand back and try to look at everything to a degree, it does seem like it may have been planned out. Right. And then with someone like Eric said, J.P. Morgan backing out because he thought that he knew for a fact it was going to crash or something. There's definitely that possibility. I'll never dismiss it. But I'm also in the opinion where it kind of seems like it happened by happenstance simply because of all, like, the cockiness and the arrogance at the time because of the bolstering that they were doing for the ship.
Unsinkable.
Yeah, it's supposed to be unsinkable. The plates, the metal plates on the side are supposed to be like, 10 feet thick or whatever it was at the time. Like, there's no way nothing's going to get through it. So it's like, I definitely, I won't dismiss the fact that it could have been, because like he says with the J.P. Morgan canceling last minute, that is suspicious.
It could be fun. It could be fun to just do for.
I'm gonna say I do believe it was a conspiracy, and I'll give you my reasons. Number one, when you want to kill a lot of people, you create what they call a problem reaction solution. Okay, you create a problem, you wait for the people to react, and they come to you, and then you give them the solution that you wanted from the beginning anyway. So you're getting your point across. Now, if J.P. Morgan and whoever was behind him wanted these people dead, you have to put a scenario together where it's going to work in that favor for you. You get a ship. You put a lot of money into that ship. You tell everybody it's unsinkable. It's
unsinkable.
It's the safest thing on earth. You go around. You tell everybody it's all over the world, the greatest ship. And again, you're creating a narrative. You're telling people, no matter what you do, this ship will never sink. So you can get on it for your $200. You're going to go to America, whatever. Thirdly, you get the most arrogant, self-centered captain that isn't going to give a flying fuck, and he's going to take risks with those people on board. Okay. Now for building the ship, it's not the safest. You're traveling 3,000 miles in ice cold water, and it's steel, or it's iron and steel. This steel is not like steel of today.
Yeah.
The steel of today is they run electrics through it, they do whatever, but it's super strong, hardened steel. This steel is porous. They knew that if something hit it, an iceberg, a series of icebergs, somewhere along the line, it's going to damage that. When you're out in the middle of the Atlantic in 1912, and you got a hole in your ship, well, chances are you're not making it back. I don't care how much radio equipment you got. Nope. Okay. So then now you got all that together. You got the greatest ship in the world. You got the shittiest steel. You got the most cockiest captain, and then you add the route. You take the route through the most heinous part of the world at that time. Just fucking things in my way. Okay, and what it is you're sending it into where there's danger, and that danger is going to take that thing out. Now, again, this could all be bullshit. I could be overthinking, but to me, it has all the earmarks of somebody doing this and creating plausible deniability. Well, we didn't create it. We didn't. That's why I asked that question about the iceberg, because now an iceberg hits, but yeah, how could I have planned the iceberg? Well, you took the gamble. You put a ship together that was shit. You sent an arrogant cocksucker that was going to drive the fucking thing, and he was going to be in
the middle of pretty much winter.
Right. Well, coming out of April, you got the entire
spring.
Whatever. You're coming out of winter in the North Atlantic. You have icebergs because it doesn't warm up until fucking October. Okay. So I do believe there's a possibility, a very strong possibility, that J.P. Morgan, maybe he didn't know it, but maybe he was being used by whoever was financing him. Mm-hmm. So I can't say for sure, but it has all the earmarks of a classic black ops setup where I didn't do it. We didn't do it. You can't prove anything, and you can't.
Fun fact.
And that's what's really good.
Fun fact. In 1898, this man, give me 1 second, Morgan Robertson wrote a book entitled Wreck of the Titan about a luxury liner deemed unsinkable that was going too fast in the North Atlantic and hit an iceberg, killing almost everyone on board.
What year was that?
1898.
1898.
There you go.
So that was 15 years before 14 years. Well,
there you go.
I mean, we'll leave it up to our audience. If you guys want to... when you listen to this episode, if you want to comment on our Facebook page and tell us, conspiracy or not, we'll see a poll. So our next conspiracy, we'll go to Dad. Dad, what is yours? What is your topic?
I'm going to go with something a little more modern. I'm going to say, and it might not be fair, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Ooh.
I like it.
I want to know, does anybody believe that the coronavirus was intentionally set to basically change the world, kill people, remove a president, and really remove our older people from this planet?
Give that push and that agenda to the New World Order.
Exactly. They've been screaming. The New World Order has been screaming for years how they want to reduce the population. It's in their rhetoric. It's in their books. It's everywhere. You can find it anywhere. Okay.
Well, okay. So first, let's
rest in peace to everyone who passed away.
And I'm not sitting here telling you. I'm not saying that the coronavirus is not real. It's very real.
No, I know.
It's very real.
What I'm saying is, first, let's put a poll between the four of us, and again, we'll ask our audience whenever they listen. Do you first believe that there is a new world order? That there is a coalition of people planning world events about the top 1%.
There's no doubt.
1% of the 1% in the world.
I 100% believe it, but I 100% believe that these people do not also like each other and also are secretly plotting against each other.
So that's
hey, it's human nature, bro. I'm telling you.
Is he just going to be the chaotic one of us, like always?
I mean, chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. I'll go with that. Eric's chaotic neutral.
All right, Joshua. How about you?
I'm kind of on the fence. Like, a part of me wants to not believe the fact that there's people out there that would do that. But then the actual realist part of me is like, no, that's completely possible. It completely damn possible.
Hey, if I could think of someone out there, connect it.
Exactly. It's a crazy notion to try and think about that nowadays. Most average people can't think of something even closely related to what has happened in the past year. I mean, that's a safe assumption.
I agree.
Normal sane people would never in a million years probably sit there and think of saying, hey, let's do this virus, whatever, blah, 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 let's do this, and then accidentally release it, and then have it spread, and having one government cover it up, and not be 100% honest, and then have it just go right across the world.
Honestly, it's coming out of communist China, so you know.
Hold on. Let's get some facts straight here. The virus itself was going between, I believe, if I read this correctly, a lab in Virginia.
It wasn't a research lab in Wuhan. It was
and to China.
Yeah.
So it was going back and forth.
I didn't know about the Virginia one.
Going back and forth between the U.S.
That was North Carolina.
North Carolina, not Virginia. But it was going back and forth between the U.S. and at least these two labs were studying this particular virus. Now,
well, not only that, but it's just like, because it also has characteristics of it being spliced and manipulated, like man-made. Like, that's something that's like studied or
that's what I'm saying. So I believe now. Do I believe that the virus got out accidentally? Yes, I do. Do I believe everything that has happened to try and
cover it up?
Not cover it up, but like reduce the population, all these type of rules and regulations, to a certain point, yes. I mean, granted, obviously there's I think this virus was geared towards the sick, geared towards the older generation, because you get rid of the older generation, you don't have to pay for pension anymore, you don't have to pay for Medicaid or anything like that. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, look, just take a look. The two of the four people in this booth right now have had the virus, me and Dad, and obviously we're fine, at least right now, from it. Obviously there's reports of later down the road complications with the virus, stuff like that. But
great.
But Dad's 60, I'm 25, so I was completely fine. I had a minor headache. I don't know what your symptoms were, Dad. I don't know if you had.
I just had fatigue. I was extremely tired. I slept from Christmas Eve morning till the day after Christmas. I just literally slept. I was on a couch and slept. A couple of days before, a very light stomach ache.
Yeah.
It lasted 2 days. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. No big, seeing purple elephants.
But yeah, so but you take a look at and rest their souls. My grandfather and Uncle Keith, they had problems physically with themselves. I mean, granted, we don't know, at least to this point, if the virus itself took our uncle out. Something while he had the virus took him out. I don't know if the virus enhanced it. My grandfather, I think the virus enhanced his heart condition that he had already. Now, his heart was declining to begin with, and we had an inkling if he ever caught this virus, it probably would have been the last time we saw him. And unfortunately, that's how things go. I mean, again, just take a look at what's happening to our grandmother right now. She's fighting, like, Mama is a pisser, and she's fighting every freaking day this virus. But, like, it's really taken to effect to her. The older generation, it really stings. Like, most of the people who have passed away due to the virus have been the older generation.
Yeah, all right. I said you're right, and that's part of the question I have. If you want to reduce the population, what's the easiest ones to start with?
The sick and the elderly.
The sick and the elderly, because you can get rid of them. People will look, again, people will say, well, you know what, he was 90 years old, he caught the virus or whatever, and he passed away. What do you want him to live forever? It's nice to say if it isn't your father, or if it isn't your brother or your cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? These people are ruthless. They have no remorse. There's nothing that they wouldn't do to push their agenda. Now, the reason why I asked this question about the virus being a spread, or the virus being done weaponized, exactly, to target people, is because I got a question. When this first came over to the United States back in, I think it was January last year. All right, we got reports that the virus basically was in Seattle. One guy in Seattle had it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, within 3 days, New York had 300 cases. Last I looked, that's a 3,000-mile span. Okay, so how did that happen? And then all of a sudden, Georgia got it. Florida got it. So was that one guy infected that many people where they were flying all over the world and we got all? How does that happen that quick?
Well, I got you. I know exactly what went down. So, I was there.
Oh my God. This is right from Ryu.
I got you right now. This is exactly how it happened. So, we were all in an airplane, about 30,000 feet in the air. It's very, very high. And we were all very sick. We were all in hazmat suits. And we all jumped out of airplanes in different directions. And we all parachuted and landed.
This isn't war zone.
It's exactly how it happened. How you can't tell me? I was there.
Bro, okay. Then you're just like Uncle Bob with the Vietnam stories. He was 3 years old when Vietnam started, but he was there.
I was there, bro. I feel him. So that's how the virus spread. Obviously, stupid. Come on. What do you?
I'm not gonna sit here.
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna sit here and agree with Ryu over there.
But you're not gonna say either.
To a small minor degree.
You still.
Well, no. Let me get my point out. To a degree, first let me say it's a really scary thought that someone can sit there and
do this
stuff if it is in fact made to
the deaths of thousands and thousands.
Yes,
that's
very scary. That's a very evil thought to begin with, and I really hate that I have that type of brain where I can probably think of all possibilities within a matter of minutes.
That's why QAnon is honestly very entertaining.
The very easiest way, and I hate that I'm about to actually say this, very easiest way to spread anything in this world is just to let the person who is infected with it
do his thing.
Let them believe they're not infected. Or at least not tell them or give me any kind of an inkling of something that they're doing is wrong, and just unleashing them into the world. Because that man in Seattle, for all we know, could have allegedly came from the Middle East on an airplane, kind of like what Rita just said.
Damn.
The 20-something hours it takes to get from over there to over here, that's 20-something hours. A 747 full of what, 250 passengers?
Something like that, yeah.
Are going to spend, give or take,
together.
And that can easily disperse. And like they said, you and Joe both had it. You guys are now over it. Those people on those planes, they don't know that. The person who had it could have been coughing, could have been sneezing, could have been
nobody
while they're sleeping, and no one knew anything.
All right, so I
not catch, but they'll catch on them in some way, shape, or form. Now, say that plane comes and finally lands in the U.S., it could stop in one location. It could stop in New York, for all we know. And all those people will get off, or half of those people get off.
Right.
And then that generally goes to, what was it, Seattle, whatever.
Yeah.
That type of deal. And, I really hate this. That is by far the easiest way to spread anything on this planet.
No, I agree with you. It's a little disconcerting to me that
because the Earth is flat.
Nobody in the central part of the country got anything. I mean, we literally, the central part of the country didn't get anything till April.
No, I know.
I mean,
I'm
it
just
was
saying.
pick and choose in middle, and I know there's not as many people. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, like New York, you go to Subway in New York, you can give it to 1,000 people a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I just find it a little odd that within a week's time, this was really blown completely out of the water. Now, it could be exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, I can't prove either way. It just seems funny to me. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also,
you're right.
It also seems funny to me that our beloved president at the time, Barack Obama, decided to give the Wuhan lab $3.6 million.
Well, that was a couple of years ago, though. That wasn't.
That right. That was a couple of years ago. To actually look at viruses. Now, having said that, he did start
the last year.
He did start a
17 was
a in the White House, a panel in the White House.
16 was the last year.
Study pandemics. So you got to give him that much. But did you know something was coming? That you were doing this? You know, and again, when Trump took office, he was so hell-bent on dismantling anything Obama that he dismantled that. So whatever they did learn, even if Obama came over here with a match and lit it, if this task force knew about it, Trump dismantled it. And I think that's one of his biggest mistakes that people are not really relying. And I'm a Trump fan. I'm a Trump supporter. And I'm telling you this because that was a mistake. You know, if it's public health, you got to let it stay there. You should have never done that. Now,
yeah, I agree with you. That's one of my biggest gripes that no one wants to acknowledge.
No.
He got rid of like his pandemic team or whatever. Right. He basically said, screw you, I don't need you.
They brought this fucking Fauci in, which I mean, the guy, if you look at Fauci's past, it's criminal. What he did with the AIDS epidemic, the people that he killed, because he decided to delay the then vaccine at the time that they were trying, he literally killed millions of people in Africa because of his lack of leadership and doing whatever, you know. And I think if you look really deep into Fauci, there's a money thing here. Somewhere along the line, did he have money that he was waiting on to make? I don't know. I'm not accusing, but I'm just saying it's kind of funny. And it's kind of funny that the one doctor who actually worked with Fauci and went out and they actually made a movie about her, a documentary.
The lady, right?
Yeah,
the one I showed you the
they literally took that off everywhere. You can't find it. They demonized this woman.
No, I can tell you a story from that.
I have it on my fucking computer.
Off air.
No, not that. When you sent it to me, I sent it to him and I told him to watch. As soon as he was done watching, they took it down. And he texted me, I was like, Joe, they fucking took it down. What the?
That's it. I thought Men in Black were coming to my door.
Once they try to silence you,
just Men in Black, bro. That's it. Just it.
Once they try to,
Will Smith gonna pop up with a little popper gun, like, yo, that's it. I'm coming. You coming with me? Oh fuck, got the Fresh Prince.
you know you're onto something when they try to ban you. That's how I live my life like that. If they try to shut me up for whatever reason,
that's the case.
It isn't because I don't want to hear you.
Everybody.
I don't want to hear you because you sound stupid. I don't want to hear you because you sound too you sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound like I can't let anybody else hear this. This book right here, no word to lie. I don't know why it's sitting here. Me and Lee, it's called, from it's all about Lee Harvey Oswald. This woman who wrote it, Judith Ferry Baker, she has been demonized every which way but Sunday because everything in that book, she documents, she proves, and she gives you a laundry list of what went on.
We almost had her on the show.
We still can get her on the show, but we were doing it during that week, and she does her JFK conferences. Now, everything in that book has been fact-checked and documented, everything. This is the companion book that went along with it, Dr. Mary's Monkey. It's all about what she was a cancer she was a cancer person. She was finding cures for cancer. She literally was shut up about it. We don't want you to cure that cancer. We don't want you to do anything. But she's like, wait a minute, you guys are cancer specialists. She goes, well, we don't want to hear from you.
Dad, Mike.
We don't want to hear from you because basically, it's not true. But it later turned out that everything she was saying was absolutely true. In that book, Me and Lee, it's all been documented. She's been demonized by the government. She told me with her own mouth that she does not live in the same place for more than a month at a time. Okay, and when she has an email address, she says, if you're going to contact me through the email address. I can't give you a phone number right now because phone numbers with me change minute to minute. Because the government is demonizing her, that she's stupid, she's this, it couldn't possibly been true. But it is true. Everything, witnesses, court records, everything. So when they try to demonize somebody and they try to shut you up like they want Trump shut up. They want all the conservatives shut up because they don't want their story to be out there. They don't want an alternate story. They don't want somebody that's going to tell their side of it. They want to control everything.
We want everybody to be all happy. Right. And we all want everybody to be
That's the number one thing you got to, whenever somebody tries to shut you up. Okay, I don't agree with a lot of people what they say, but I'll fight for the right to say it because we have free speech in this country.
And that's the point. And once you start denying my free speech, it's just like, what the fuck? This is America.
When you go to shut somebody up because you don't agree with them, you better be damn well ready because somebody's going to come along and try to shut you up because they don't agree with you. And that's exactly where we're at right now, folks. And
tensions are high.
Well, I don't mean to go off on a different angle there, but get involved with this shit. It's crazy.
Yeah. So let's go to our third topic, and Joshua.
Go, my turn.
So yes, I do agree that the coronavirus was a conspiracy.
Yes, I do too. We didn't take a poll, motherfucker.
Oh well, excuse the fucking me. I believe there are some parts conspiracy.
Such a way he plays it safe. I believe it could be, but maybe not. But maybe possibly. Yes or no.
It's not a yes or no. It's more complicated than a yes or no. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, that turban's got to be loosened.
I don't have a turban. What?
What is that on your head?
Your American
flag.
Bandana.
Oh, it's American flag.
America.
Josh, conspiracy. Rona, conspiracy, yes or no?
Showing off our American.
Mr. Liberal.
When the hell am I a liberal?
Probably like a libertarian or something.
I just like to look at all the facts. I like to stand back and see as much as possible.
A centrist.
Part of me, I gotta say, 75% of me believes it is. There's a small 25% that wants to have faith and say this is all just one big fuck up.
It was just a human mistake.
That just caught the world by storm. Shit like that has happened before, but there's a very huge part of me that there very well could be.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I can't prove anything, but it just scares the fuck out of me that that we can now all of a sudden we're getting a vaccine. The new president's in. You got rid of the loudmouth president. He can't do any harm now. He's gone. He can't, give the government back to the people. But now what we have is Sleepy Joe comes in, and now all of a sudden we're opening California up. Wait a minute, weren't they spiking a week ago? And now we're going to open up. We're going to go send our kids back to school. Meanwhile, the kids are hiding in the closet because the teachers are hiding in the closet because they don't want to go back to school. So there's a lot of shit that don't make sense. Anyway, I'm sorry. Next topic, whatever you want.
We're all going to be
Joshua.
We're all going to be all right.
Your next topic.
All right,
please
fellas.
stick to fucking topic.
Mine's kind of single solitary. Don't worry.
And simple.
Very simple, really.
Thank you guys again for listening, and stay tuned for next week's episode to find out what Joshua's and my topics are. See you guys next week.